Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about food spiritual awakening. In my previous video, I talked about what a spiritual awakening is, what you can expect. And today I really want to focus on food spiritual awakening, which honestly, it has been my first spiritual awakening. So it's actually, and then I had the what people experience the spiritual awakening, that it's more like trauma based, emotional, spiritual gifts and things like that. But my first one was actually around food and my body, and so actually this brings me back to how far I've come. And obviously right now this is what I do. I help women to ditch the diet, and break this toxic cycle so they can not only reach a healthy weight in a non-obsessive way, but kind of like elevate their body, mind, and soul in a way that they don't even know it's possible. So nobody talks about the food spiritual awakening, so I'm pretty excited about this topic today. And let's get started. What is food spiritual awakening? Okay, so that's when you realize that there is something more to food, and usually that happens when people or myself, when people are like, I'm done, I've tried everything, I'm like tired of hitting my head against the wall against another diet. Like, the word dieting is not helping me anymore. I know it's toxic because there is guilt and shame involved, and there's binging or restriction So it's a very, I would say, powerful, unhealthy cycle. I think that it's absolutely normalized in today's society, and that needs to be not removed, but kind of like needs to be talked about. Okay, so it's the breaking point when you're like, oh my god, this is not working. The way I've been eating, it's not sustaining me, and I know that there is something more, there is something else. And I know that someone out there, obviously you've probably heard the quote of food, let the food be the medicine, and the medicine be the food. And so usually that's what happens. Like, people are starting to question, like, okay, there is something more to just the diet. There is a mind-body connection, and I know that food is energy, and so I want to learn that. And usually they get introduced to like gut health, and again, the gut and brain connection, and you can raise your vibrations through food. And not only that, you can help your emotional body through food. So these are all of the questions that people go through. The first one is definitely, I'm done with this cycle. I'm tired. I don't want to diet anymore. I want something that is a holistic, healthy lifestyle that I read, on this magazine, and I'm ready for that. And you start questioning the food policies. You start to question everything that you've heard. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about my journey so that it helps you to understand where I'm coming from. I started having like eating disorders when I was 16, and just so you guys know, I was born and raised in Italy, where food is amazing, but yet I did have eating disorders, specifically bulimia, and then I went into hardcore dieting. I was an athlete at that time, and it honestly, it was one of the hardest time of my life, because I lost myself in the dieting process, and I became so obsessed with my body, my weight, trying to seek external validation, and I started to hate myself rather than loving myself, right? So my body started deteriorating. Like, I started to lose too much weight, but I started being obsessively controlling about food, and I did not look healthy at all. So then I realized that there was something else, and I started traveling at a very young age. I was like almost 19 when I decided to travel the world with my backpack on, and I was introduced to Ayurveda, which that's what I use with my clients. That changed my life. It's a very spiritual, mind-body, holistic health science, one of the most ancient healing science on the planet, and it totally transformed my view. And that's when I had my food spiritual awakening. So I want you guys to understand what you can expect from the food awakening journey. All right, so first of all, one of the things that you will kind of start to change is that you're starting to realize that food is not just food. It's not just something that you eat to work out. Food is something more, kind of like a ritual, and so it has that spiritual note of is feeding the temple. Food is fuel for my body, and my body is my temple, and so you're gonna start to treat your body like if it is a temple, because that body needs to sustain you in this life on planet Earth that we all are living in. And so you're going to start questioning that, and again, you're going to start treating food like it is something like a spiritual practice or a ritual. Okay, so when I drink coffee or when I have my food, it's not just I need to have food. I'm like, okay, like I know that we'll talk about this. This has a healing property, and this is going to help me with this. And it's a ritual because it helps me with my vibrations and my energy. And second, actually things that you can expect is you would want to choose food that are organically sourced and very high quality, because you know the impact and the toxicity that low quality food has on your body. And so some people start with that. Actually, this is the first step for so many. They're like, oh, I just started buying organic, and this is wonderful because especially here in the United States is so much less in I can speak from Italy's point of view, but I would say Europe. But here they use a lot of pesticides that are so toxic for our body that I recommend, like, start with buying organic and source high quality ingredients. Even if you have to spend a little bit more money, it's worth it on your health. Okay, so that's actually the second step. The third thing that you can expect is you will start to choose food with a greater intention. So you're going to start to be very mindful of the ingredients you choose. And so this is something that actually is my favorite part, because I have studied herbology and kind of the properties of not just the different food, but the herbs and the spices and what they do to the body. And so I'm fascinated, and I always read a book about herbs because I choose my ingredients with intention. I'm always like, okay, so if I need a blood cleanser, I will choose turmeric. Not only is anti-inflammatory, but it's a blood cleanser. If I am going through kind of like a cold, I will choose ginger because It's anti-inflammatory, but it clears toxins from your bloodstreams, and it just helps the detoxification process. So powerful. Actually, root. And I have a video all about ginger. If you want to check that out, I will add it down into the description below. But again, one thing that now I do, I will choose the ingredients based upon what my body needs, and with a great intention of like, it's for healing. Like, my body needs this, and ultimately I'm always trying to seek balance, and I'm healing all the time, you know, deeper layers of body, mind, and soul. All right, so the next thing that you can expect from this food spiritual awakening journey is the acceptance of the concept that food has a vibration, has an energy, okay? And this is something that I open my clients up to during my 10-week program, when they are ready to hear this, because food has a specific energy, and so it's so important to match what your body needs, okay? So if your body is very inflamed, you want to avoid, actually, not reduce, food that is not only inflammatory, but also spicy in taste and pungent, because that will increase that fire, that will increase that inflammation. So you don't want to put anything like heating on an open wound, right? It's the same concept. So you kind of like understanding that the energy of the food will help you to understand how to manage different like digestive issues, or actually health disorders, right? Or disease, what we call it. And another thing about vibration is you're going to start to understand that food has prana. Prana is in Ayurveda like the life force and energy. So you're going to start to understand that raw fruits and vegetable has a high amount of prana, so high amount of life force in it. So you're going to start to lean into that particular food more, rather than oily, stale, like processed food. Like, you're not gonna want to go there once you start cleansing and once you start like awakening. Another thing that you can expect is the attention you're going to place to who cooked the food. So you're going to start to be mindful of who prepared the food, and you're actually going to want to prepare your own food more often because of what I'm about to tell you, which is the energy travels all the time. And so, have you ever eaten a meal that was prepared by someone? It could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be your spouse, but that was actually mad and angry when he or she prepared it. I did. And I have to say this, but my mom was always stressed out, and she was an amazing cook and chef. Like, I can't not deny this, that amazing chef. But she was always stressed out, always screaming in the kitchen. You know, the Italian crazy mom that screams at everything. And I had a lot of digestive issues, and I couldn't digest the food, and I was like, what's going on? And when I started to realize that the energy gets transmuted into the food of, you know, the person who prepares it, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. So realizing that you don't know who prepares the food, or maybe more oftentimes, maybe you do, but at a restaurant will actually start to make you think that, oh my God, maybe that person had a bad day. Now I'm eating this food that was prepared by this person who maybe like is going through shit right now, literally. And so you want to be mindful of that. And that's one of the reasons why I like to prepare my own food, or if I eat homemade cooked foods, I know who prepared it, and I'm kind of mindful. Sometimes I ask, like, okay, thank you. Like, were you in a happy mood when you prepared it? I hope so. And usually 90% of the time, unless it's my mom, they are. But it's kind of something that I would like for you to be mindful of. Okay, so now we're gonna shift to the 5 foods that are supporting your food spiritual awakening journey. Okay, the first one, like I mentioned before, organic fruit and veggies are key, because again, you want to avoid all of these toxins in your body, and you want to start to cleanse your body. Second thing is clean, pure water is essential. And I can't tell you how many people like don't drink clean purified water, and they have health issues and their body is so dehydrated. So I want you to be mindful of the water that you drink every single day. That's so important. Another thing is make sure that you introduce spirulina and or chlorella. I do both at the same time. It's kind of like I have it in my kitchen all the time, and whenever I need it, I'll take it. There are months where I take it every day and months that I'm not. Spirulina and chlorella, especially spirulina is my favorite. It's a blue-green algae that is a complete protein full of vitamins, and really great if you are on a plant-based diet because it's a complete protein, but also it's very like blue-green. So it's rich in chlorophyll, and so it will kind of will help to carry more oxygen to the cells and cleanse your body, okay? And also it will bind itself, like chlorella is specifically like a binder to heavy metals and toxins in your body, and that will come out through your bowel movements. So don't forget that. You can find it on Amazon or at your local food store. And then the last one, no, actually 2 more. Raw cacao. I love chocolate, especially dark chocolate. I was addicted to milk chocolate, but when I started to cleanse and to get into my food spiritual journey, I definitely did switch to more of a dark chocolate, and raw cacao was used in ceremony all the time by indigenous cultures. So I kind of like, if you can gravitate to that, it's very invigorating for the body, and also for body, mind, and soul. And it is used as in the awakening ceremony process. Okay, it activates you. Another thing is, according to Ayurveda, the last thing, introduce more sattvic foods. So foods that are high in pranas. We talked about that. So anything that is more fresh, local, that has a high amount of nutrients is essential. So you want to avoid like anything heavy, oily, stale, leftovers. I don't eat the leftovers, like five days leftovers, like maybe maximum 3-day leftovers, but please like just try to eat things that you cook fresh all the time. So that's it. If you have any comments or questions, just let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.